All right, something a bit different. So, not wild camping. In fact, I'm not camping at all. I decided I'm gonna walk most of the Hadrian's Wall path, the national trail. So, I fancy doing quite a lot of multi-day hiking this year, but I've never done a back-to-back days. So I thought, have a weekend off work. I thought I'd string together three fairly heavy walking days back to back. See how my legs fare. So it's a bit of an experiment, just to see how my legs and feet cope with multi-day hiking. And number two, I'm going to just recce the trail for maybe in the lighter nights. I'm going to come back and do it again in its entirety, but hopefully wild camping, which you're not meant to do. But if I can find some decent spots, then I'll have a head start if I do come back and do it. I think I've only done about 3 miles so far. There hasn't really been much to show you, to be honest, because it's just walking like out of Carlisle. And on the first day, I won't even see the wall, I don't think. Nothing to report, pretty uneventful up to now. So as I was saying, I've clipped off a little bit at the beginning and the end of this full national trail. So I started from Carlisle instead of Bowness-on-Solway. So that saved us about 15 miles. And then I intend to just finish when I hit Newcastle, rather than walking the extra bit to Wall's End. Like I said, it's more of a recce and just to test my legs out, really. So the next, I'm going to go through a place called Newtown, and then a place called Walton. And at Walton there's a cafe called the Reading Room, and I'm going to get me lunch there. All right, I'll bring you back when we're getting towards that cafe. So it's 12 o'clock, just after, and I've done coming up 11 mile, and I feel totally fine. So my first day of this, from Carlisle to camping at Banks, which is the place I'm going to stay tonight, is 15 mile. If you were doing the full trail from Bowness-on-Solway, that would be about mile 30. Nice welcome. Right, well, as you've just seen, I'm just getting here. Amazing. I can't wait to spend the night in here. Tiny, really cosy, dead clean, little wood burner. It's like a TARDIS, actually. And then I've got my own tap, so it's like a clear sink and a tap. And then I've also got a composting toilet, so that's a new one on me, like. But I think what it is you cover your business with sawdust, I think. Yeah. It's the bucket of sawdust there. That's the hole. It's too dark to say what's down that hole, I'm pleased to say. I've set off, it's 8:30, and my plan is to stop at the Twice Brewed pub, which is at Once Brewed, and have my lunch there, and that's about 12 to 13 miles away. So I'm hoping I'll be getting there about 1, maybe 1:30, and then once I've had my lunch at Twice Brewed, I've got the same walk again to get to a hotel at Chollerford called the George. So we're being luxurious this adventure. Right, anyway, like I said, so it's about 25 miles today. So I'm going to get my head down and get cracking. So just coming up here to a section of the wall I'll show you. I'll not keep boring you with sections of wall. I'm sure you get the idea. But we'll have a look at this one. So this is called Banks East. 52A, an observation tower this was. So it's 11:30 and I've done 8.25 mile. Hard mile because it's very up and down. So it's starting to see a lot more wall, as you can see. So it's relatively hard to get lost, although I've took a couple of wrong turns where the signs were a little bit ambiguous. So I'll give you another little look at Walltown Country Park Quarry. Some good views up here. I've just come off trail. I should be heading that way, but I'm coming down this road here because at the bottom is the Twice Brewed pub at Once Brewed, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to get in there and refill me tanks. It's 1:15. I've done nearly 14 mile. Still feel alright, but I think I'll need to eat a canny bit here. I deserve it. Right, so I've just had my lunch at Twice Brewed, had a lamb roast dinner, lovely. Had to wolf it down like, because I'm conscious that I'm going to run out of daylight before I get to Chollerford. But legs and feet feel fine. Like I said, it's just daylight hours, that's the challenge. So it'll not be long before I come up to the Sycamore Gap with the famous tree used in the film Robin Hood. You'll know which one I mean. It's the one with that bloody awful Bryan Adams song. When I was a kid, that was at #1 for absolutely ages. Rubbish. I don't know one person that would claim to like that song, and yet it was at #1 for, well, it felt like a year. Anyway, I'll bring it back when we're at the Sycamore Gap. There you go, Sycamore Gap. Like I said, Bryan Adams ruined it for me. It's 4:45 and I've done 19.34 miles, so I'm still in the game. And I think I've just about reached the highest point, and I think we start descending into Chollerford now, so might get a bit easier, because one thing's for sure, nothing easy about that. So if anyone says let's go and walk Hadrian's Wall, don't think it's flat, it ain't. So if I can, I'll point at it, you can just see the kind of the ridge coming along, and what you'll notice is there's constantly this down steep and then up steep, down steep, all the way along there. So it's like interval training. But I feel good, but yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, that, like. Right, I made it. So the last 5 miles were pretty much walking in the dark, so that's why I haven't filmed anything up to now. But anyway, I'm in the George Hotel in Cholerford. Anyway, so it's 6:30. I've done 27.79 mile a day. And the last few, I don't mind saying, the last few miles were, I was digging deep. So anyway, I'm not going to film anything more tonight. I'm going to have a shower. Well, I'm going to stretch first, so I'm ready for tomorrow. Have a shower, then go down the bar, and I'm going to eat a lot of food with chips. And if there's no sticky toffee pudding on that menu, I'm going to kick off. Or at least a variant of sticky toffee pudding. Anyway, I'll see you in the morning. Morning. Right, Monday morning, 9:05. Good night's sleep in the George at Cholerford, which is a hotel there on the river. Unbelievably, last night, once I had my main meal, they did have sticky toffee pudding on the menu, and I couldn't even eat it. I think I was too tired, and I just had to go to bed. When I woke up, my legs were in tatters. However, once I've had a shower, moved around, been down for my breakfast, I've warmed up. It feels great now. So it's 22 miles to Newcastle. I don't know if I'll get to Newcastle, but I'll try my very best. So I said at the beginning that this was a bit of a mission to see how my legs coped. 3 days walking, which they've coped alright. And the other one was just to sort of recce it for potential spots to wild camp if you were doing it unsupported, like in one go. And there's definitely loads of places you could get away with wild camping, but the caveat is you'd have to treat it like a proper stealth wild camp, and therefore you could only really start pitching your tent as it's getting dark. So that means that if it was in the summer, that would be a very long day. So my conclusion is, if you were doing the Hadrian's Wall path and you wanted to do it as quick as possible, you know, like I did yesterday, like 28 mile, 30 mile, three days like that, then that would be perfect. Because it means you wouldn't have to go at the same pace I went. You could stop and have like a bit of a extended lunch, and then, you know, start thinking about pitching your tent about 9ish. And you'd get away with that, you know, if you were stealthy. But if you would just want to do like 15-mile days, then I wouldn't bother, because there's loads of basic campsites all the way along, and then that feels almost like wild camping. They're so basic, and it means you can relax, you know, and or even do what I have a night in a pub or a hotel or a shepherd's hut. So anyway, that's my 2 penneth. Right, this is as good a place as any to do my sign off. So I'm sort of going through Newburn, and eventually I'll get on the Scotswood Road, and then I'll get a bus to the train station. So if you've watched it to this far, well done. Anyway, hope it's been of some use. I've enjoyed it. I think the day's been a bit of a drag, but I've still enjoyed it. Definitely like to do it again, start at the very beginning. Bonus on Solway. Right, so I'll just let you know, so it's 10 to 4. I've done 19.81 mile. So another good session into the legs. Probably end up doing another mile or so before I get to the bus. Anyway, like I say, thanks for watching. See you next time.